I'm Amanda Shekarchi, and I am joined by singer, songwriter, and guitarist Ron Loos, who is from Saskatchewan. His music is moving and emotional. Each song is a valuable life lesson and tells a really meaningful story. His latest single is Recovery Road, and in 2025, he released the full-length album Ordinary Shine. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Amanda. It's my pleasure.
Of course. Now, something interesting is I read that you started learning how to play guitar at a young age. How would you describe that experience?
I remember being like 9 or 10 years old, and I was aware that there was an old acoustic guitar that we had in the attic, and I don't know where that came from or why it was there, but I knew it was there. And I was at home with my sister one night, and I was like, "There's a weird intuition that I just wanted to get my hands on that thing." And it's crazy when I look back on it, right? There was something innate inside me that knew I wanted to get my hands on that guitar. And my sister showed me how to, push my fingers against the frets, I should say. And it all started from there. And right from that moment, I've been playing and making up songs like my entire life, right? And so, yeah, that's where it began.
I love that. And I know that you played the guitar parts on all the music now, like with Ordinary Shine and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's right, on the album. And there's a picture on the back of the album. Here, can I do this? There it is. Those are all the instruments I played on the album there. So there's several acoustic guitars, electric, a resonator, mandolin, a little bit of ukulele on there. So yeah, I got my fingers all over the album on various instruments. But yeah, that's the advantage of of being a guitar player, and part of the great joy for me is writing these songs and recording them, of course. But then going back and just getting to experiment and do all these different guitar parts myself too is yeah, it's a gas.
That is really cool. And what is it like, living in the Saskatchewan music scene?
It is a very tight knit community here in Saskatchewan. Like, obviously, it's not like Toronto where there's so many different venues to play in and so many different players, right? Like, it's a small group, but it's very lively, right? Like, there's lots of like open mic opportunities in Saskatchewan, and lots of get-togethers, lots of songwriter forums, and then just a festival season, right? Which you and I discussed kind of over text a little bit there, right? Like, lots of really cool little sort of arts and crafts and music festivals throughout Saskatchewan, right? So yeah, very vibrant music community with lots of opportunities to play and connect with other songwriters.
I love that. And who would you say are like some of your mentors that you learned from in that scene?
Like, over the years, I've played a lot of different styles of music. Um, but fundamentally, I guess I would say, like, I started out in bands as more of a hard rock and a blues guitar player, right? So I used to, like, Colin James is somebody who came out of this area, who rose to great fame, right? And obviously is a very very skilled guitar player. Jack Semple is a local legend in terms of guitar, right? Like, those are guys, local musicians that I would have looked to, where I really learned chops from listening to guys like that, and who really inspired me to want to learn to play guitar, right, and to really to develop my skill, right, as a guitarist, right, like, and as a songwriter as well, right, listening to where those guys took their music, and again, that was more of an R&B or sort of a blues rock phase, and I was listening to everything, in those days, from John Prine and uh, like even Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan to Iron Maiden and everything in between, right? So there's a wide range of things that influenced my own songwriting, right? But as a guitar player, those are kind of guys that I look to inspire me to really want to play.
I love that. That's so beautiful. And now I want to talk about the new single, Recovery Road. And what for you is what do you hope people take away from it?
So Recovery Road really is it's a pretty obvious message, right? Like, I've been sober, clean and sober, for 30 years, and it's a huge part of my life, obviously, right? Like I was arrested and landed in treatment back when I was 29 years old, and went through rehab, and really, uh, I woke up again at that time in my life, right? Like I had completely collapsed. And so I rebuilt my life slowly, one day at a time, got married and raised a family. And so all these years later now, like, I've recorded this new album. I'm really getting heavily back into writing my own music again, and recording my music properly, right? Like working with professionals to properly record it. And so this song really embodies the you know the collapse kind of at the beginning of the song of just being completely broken by drugs and alcohol, and then just finding that the spark to recover and live that recovery. And then further in that, the message is, just lately, I've really re-sparked my love for writing music and performing again, right? And I'm really doubling down on that now at this point, later on in my career, if you will. But it feels really fresh and new. So that's kind of where this song is. It's taking that message of recovery that hopefully somebody can find some solace in, but then also within that recovery, the spark of what do I really want to do with my life, right? I want to share my music and share my message.
So, a lyric that really stood out to me in this song was 24 hours here in this day, just one at a time. Well, baby, I'm here to stay. What does this line mean to you?
Yeah, that's a big one for sure. So 24 hours a day, like I still am active in recovery circles, right? So I mean that is simply the aspect of just living one day at a time, right? Just continuing to live one sober day at a time, sometimes 1 hour at a time, whatever that takes, right? 24 hours in the day is just kind of how I divide my life up. And just one at a time, and baby, I'm here to stay. That has a couple of meanings. One is I'm here to stay in recovery. I'm here to stay to support the people that I love in my relationship. It's I'm here. I'm committed to this life that I'm in now, this life of recovery, right? And just living it simple, one day at a time, right? It really boils down to that.
I feel like that's such an important message because often I know with myself, I always look at everything I have to do and then it looks overwhelming. But then when I break it down, I'm like, okay, just take things one day or 1 hour at a time.
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly it. Right. Like, I mean, in recovery circles, that's certainly early on in recovery, that was absolutely critical for me, right. To learn how to break my life down to that simplicity. And, it goes further into just learning to be present and be in the moment, right. And be grateful and present and just live one moment at a time and appreciate what's before me.
Yeah, and something you just touched upon was the idea of, being present in the moment. And what things do you do to stay grounded during challenging times?
Playing music is always at the center, right? Like I'm in my room of guitars, as I call it, right? Guitars and stringed instruments here, where I spend a lot of my life, right? So I mean, I still work like a regular day job. Kind of thing. And although I'm, approaching retirement, but a big, when I come home, I spend a lot of time in this room, just playing songs, working on songs, writing songs. So, I mean, music definitely grounds me for sure, but just practicing mindfulness, like meditation and or mindfulness, right? Just regularly throughout the day, just stopping, taking a few deep breaths, feeling gratitude, because that's a big part of it as well, right? Grateful for what's happening right now. And just centering myself that way, right? Drawing my attention back into my breath, right? A few deep conscious breaths just to bring me back into the moment. I find that doing that multiple times throughout the day is really helpful to just ground me and keeps me focused on what's important in my life.
It's incredible to hear how, your the way you've been kind of approaching things now. And something I want to go back to your music a bit, and I want to talk about playing live. How does that feel? What is that like for you?
Amanda, I've been playing live for a long time. And it's that too is a great opportunity to learn to be present, right? Like it's it's such a
Yeah.
rush always, right? Whenever I play live, no matter, whether there's 10 people or 500 people, right? It's always incredible rush for me to get up on stage. And I still get quite nervous generally when I do it, but I find I use the practice of being present and grateful, right? And when I was young, back in my wild days before I discovered sobriety, it was more about flash and showing off and, and just drinking and partying, right? I didn't really understand what I was doing. And whereas now I am grateful for the opportunity, and I view it as an opportunity just to share myself as authentically as I can, to really bring myself into the moment and try to consciously share my message or just the music, right? Like not all my songs have a deep message. Some are just for pure fun, and but whatever it is that I'm sharing, right, just to do it consciously and with joy, right, to try to make a connection to the listeners.
Definitely. I love that. And I think a song on Ordinary Shine that I think is so relevant for right now is Love Lives Everywhere. Talk to me about the inspiration behind that one.
I love that. You picked the last time we chatted too. You picked another song, "Summer Sun." You picked different songs than other people pick when they're listening to the album, which I love, right? Because I don't get to talk about those ones very much, right? People, for whatever reason, some of the other ones are more popular. But anyway, I love that you picked out that one. Yeah, "Love Lives Everywhere." I mean, that was one that was written. I mean, a lot of my writing comes from riff, right? I'm very guitar centric. So it usually starts there. And so, and that song did as well, but that line, "Love Lives Everywhere," I wanted to incorporate it. And I actually searched it when I thought "Love Lives Everywhere." I really liked it. I searched it to see if there was another song called that, and there wasn't anything called that specifically, which I really liked, right? So then that song just flowed out. Um, very quickly, really, right? And it was more about, it was written shortly after COVID and just with all the madness that was going on in the world. And I mean, now more than ever, I guess, right? But certainly at that time, right, it was like there's always hope within me, and there has to be. Right, just the way that I live my life, and so that's really what that song was. Right, there's a change coming around. Like I could feel that even though there's this madness going on within that, it is creating the necessary conditions to provide a positive change. A glow is in the air on the horizon, right? It's coming. This love is everywhere right now, and it's going to emerge. That's kind of the sense of the song. That it's a song of hope that the love is there, and it will emerge when it's time, I guess.
I love that. And I feel like that's what's amazing about you is that there's so much hope while listening to the album, but you're also very honest about, your feelings and your emotions. And how do you feel knowing that, your journey, your stories are being out there in the world for everyone to hear through your music?
Yeah, love that question, Amanda. It's been amazing. Like, so again, I've been doing this for a long time. The first album I released was with a rock band in Saskatchewan here called the Toasters, and I would have been 21 years old. I'm 59 now, just for reference, but I was 29 when we recorded that, and it was on a I mean, and the release was, we made, I can't remember, 200 or 300 of these cassettes and distributed them to our friends. And I mean, we did some radio and had some, all that stuff still existed, right? But other than Saskatchewan radio at that time and whoever we handed the cassettes to at our shows, no, that was our distribution, right? We never went any further with that. And then, my own addictions, the band exploded as a result of that. So it didn't get any further, right? But so fast forward now, like this last album that I recorded and released last year, that's the first time that I've entered this digital world really in this way, right? So it has been incredible, right? Like watching, I have like on Spotify, like approaching 300,000 streams in over 100 countries. It was pretty shocking, honestly, at first, right? I was feeling a little bit vulnerable, even just because it was, these are very personal songs, like even though it's a little bit hidden in some of the songs, the messaging, but nonetheless, right? it's out there for everybody, right? Just sort of instantly. And not when I did the first release of the song One Wind, it really struck me. I was just like, wow, this song is now available everywhere on earth, right? And I was watching as, people in Brazil and just all over the world, right, were listening to my song. And so, yeah, it has been crazy, right? And that's been part of the whole experience. And that's, again, back to Recovery Road, I lit the fire, and now it's like, I'm well into my second, my next solo album, I guess, the second one that I've done in this sort of new phase, a new phase of my recording career here. So yeah, it's been a rush, just having it released in this digital world for sure.
Definitely, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the music that will come out of it. And for the people who wants to learn more about you and your music, where can they find you?
And I'm out there. My presence is there. I have a website. It's not as updated as it should be, but it has all the necessary links there, right? ronloosmusic.com. You can find me on Instagram at Ron Loos Music, Facebook, Ron Loos Music, and yeah, all my contact information is on there. So yeah, I'm easy to find online, and then on all the streaming platforms, obviously, right? If you want to, when I release the music, I use that the DistroKid. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, but that's the platform I used that shoots it out to all the streaming services, right? So wherever you stream your music, you can find Ron Loos there as well. So I should be easy to find, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Ron. It was such a pleasure to speak with you as always. And the latest single is Recovery Road, but also the album Ordinary Shine is out as well.